Before we get started with our dissections, we need to make sure that we're safe. So make sure you have gloves, lab coats, and goggles. To start your dissection, place your pig on your dissection surface. Since we've already went through the thoracic cage, emptied out most of the abdominal cavity, now we're going to get into the urinary system and remove most of the remaining organs within the abdominal cavity. So what you can see left in our pig here is these two little ball-shaped things. Those are the kidneys. They are coated with peritoneum, a membrane that coats the abdominal cavity, and it's actually be very simple to grab that membrane and peel it off. You might have to make a little incision, but then you can peel off that membrane and expose the kidney. So let's do that on the other side as well. Looking down inside of our abdominal cavity, we can see the kidney and these little tubes here that have just been exposed, which are ureters. Those ureters will then drain the kidneys and take it to the bladder, which is located here. Either side of the bladder, we have these arteries. These are going to be umbilical arteries. And we can run your scalpel between the bladder and those arteries. The bladder is the reservoir for the urine, but then gets drained through the urethra. The urethra here is going to be located deep inside the pelvic cavity. Oh, nice dark hole through here. And then out to, in this case, the urogenital opening of this female. We're going to leave one of these kidneys intact, but the other one, we're going to cut its hilum. The renal hilum is the connection spot right here, holding the renal arteries, the renal veins, any nerve endings leading to it, and the ureter. We're going to try our best to avoid the ureter. We can find it here and trace it up. So we're going to cut on the medial side of that ureter. And cutting down the backside of our kidney in smooth, clean cuts until we get to that hilum again, so we can open up our kidney, kind of like a book. We can see that it has some openings inside of it. The one in the center is going to be the renal pelvis leading to the ureter on the outside. These other smaller openings are going to be openings of the calyces. If I can stretch this a bit, you might be able to see some of those calyces. See how it's darker in the center and lighter around the edges of the kidney? That lighter color there is going to be the the cortex, the calyces, which are going to drain the cortex, coming from, I think I'm going to have to remove this ureter here. See how there's these tiny little cracks almost showing through here. Those are the renal pyramids. Renal pyramids there. And then they will drain through the calyces into this renal. There's actually a really nice version of the calyce right here. That kind of looks like a funnel there, and it drains down. Pyramids, calyces, and then the renal pelvis, the big hole right there in the center. Some nice pyramids on the other side here as well. Pyramids here, one here, got a couple here, here. They all will drain out through this ureter on the back side there and connect right there. And this one will connect. Let me get that out of the way. There we go. This ureter will connect at the base of the bladder right there. And now that bladder, we can actually cut its upper part, removing it from the umbilicus. Doesn't drain from the top there, but drains out through the urogenital opening. There we go. That is the bladder. It does have some stretchability, so it can open up with smooth muscle relaxation. We could actually open it up, cut it open, and peer into the inside. And you can see all those little folds that it has inside the bladder. These are little like rugae folds that we would also see inside the stomach. Now, this will drain through the ureter, which is at the base of the bladder, right near the connection of the ureters, through the urethra, which will be located down through here. So let me cut these. We're going to cut this skin a little bit more. Cutting through bone's never the easiest task. Now we can see this connection between the bladder and the urogenital system. And there we go. Bladder, this tube connecting it. Let me get rid of this extra here. This tube connecting it is going to be the urethra. connecting down here, right there at the urogenital system, and being expelled out through the urogenital orifice within the vulva. And that, a little different than the male side. The male would connect to the base of the penis, and its urogenital orifice would then be right near the opening of the umbilicus. Now, take care of your pig and clean up. This is the model of the dissection that we just did. You can see the kidneys, the renal arteries, the renal veins, and the ureters that lead down to the bladder. If we open up the kidney, we can see these darkened regions here. These are the renal pyramids, which then connect to the calyces, minor and major, leading to the renal pelvis, which then drain out through the ureter. Minor calyx here, major calyx where they connect, renal pelvis where the majors connect to the ureter, all coming down into the bladder. I hope that helped.